welcome to Dark Days Radio Presents Deep Dives. This is our second in a series of deep dive episodes, this time continuing our series into Imperium Maledictum. I am joined by a series of Dark Days Radio's hosts who are today going to be doing character creation. So I'm Chris, and I'm joined by Crystal.
Hello.
David.
Hi.
Chig.
Good evening.
And Mike.
Hey, how we doing?
So this Imperium Maledictum, if you, again, like we're going to say, like if you've played previous editions of, say, things like Dark Heresy, Only War, things like that, it's going to be a bit familiar because it's a percentile system. If you've also played Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, other than the third edition, it's going to be familiar. However, we unlike a lot of systems out there, this has full randomization for your characters. So not only just their stats, but all the way through all the choices. And like Warhammer Fantasy 4th edition, if you randomly generate your character, each step where you can either make a choice or randomly choose, it gives you some bonus XP, which you can then use to finesse the character at the end. So all of that is good fun. It allows for you to kind of like make a character that's outside of the type of things you would normally kind of explore in roleplay. And yeah, we're just going to go through it step by step. So I believe Chig and David, you've already made your characters, but you went for the full random process.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
We're going to be talking through first with Crystal and Mike as they make theirs now. So, where shall we begin? I think the first thing is we have to roll for their characteristics. So that's the first thing we're doing, is we're rolling up characteristics.
Yeah. So I got some show notes here. I think, kind of step zero before we get to this really is the creation of the patron, which we did last episode. Maybe we want to just go over, for people that haven't checked out that episode yet, who our patron is in the Vegas sense.
We've got a patron who is a criminal mastermind, an infractionist, called
Lord Prefectus Scythia of Subsector Alpha.
That's the one.
And sheet should be somewhere in the chat, unless you want me to re-upload it.
No, it's okay. I mean, I believe they're meant to be looking for revolution. Essentially, they're looking to they're technically a criminal, but they're actually looking to try and improve the situation within the Imperium in whatever small way they can. In particular, our backstory is that they are a member of a fallen house of nobility within the Macarius sector, seeking to re-establish their noble lineage, and at the same time find out who the true heretics are, who caused their family's downfall in the first place. So that's pretty wicked. Their power base, their center of power there is on the world of Macarius, which is a
Shrine World.
Shrine World, yes. So it's also a center for the ecclesiarchy and is where many pilgrims go to venerate the saint, Lord Solar Macarius, who obviously led this crusade, which established the Macarius sector as it is now. Right, with that out the way, let's roll some dice.
Yeah. Let's go on to characteristics. So, we're going to go over how to create a character here on the show and explain some of the basic mechanics as we go. And this character creation is going to kind of gloss over some mechanics and things like talents, but we'll give you a lot of the basics as we go through. We're also going to try to put these show notes up online on our blog, as well as a copy of the character sheet for my character, just so you can see how this turned out on the sheet when you follow along if you're listening or watching this on YouTube. So, Chris just mentioned our patron, which is going to be kind of the cohesive factor for our party. Later on, we're actually going to do a party sheet, which will also kind of help bring us together some more. So first step is to start generating the characteristics for your character. So you're going to roll 2d10 and add 20 to that. You're going to do that 9 times for the 9 characteristics. These are going to seem pretty similar, a lot of them, to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and also old editions of Warhammer Fantasy or Warhammer 40,000, pre 8th edition. One thing to note is that typically in this game system, 30 is about the human average, equivalent to 3 in those old war game systems. So when you're rolling this up, you're doing 2d10 plus 20, you're going to be getting around a 30. So just at the start, you're pretty much like the baseline human norm. But there'll be some other bonuses we'll generate along the way. So going through for my character, who doesn't have a name or anything at this point, we're just going to be doing this totally randomly for my character. And I think that's what everyone's done here, right? Everyone nodded. For those that are listening,
everyone nods. Yes. Podcast edition.
Yep. Which is a pretty fun thing. We'll go through why that's an advantage actually to do things randomly. But it's also just fun and very thematic. You don't really get to choose who you are in this world, which is pretty downtrodden, gutter punk, splatter punk, and just tough like that. So what did I get here?
I think it also kind of leans into 40k as well, because it's like you don't choose your role; the Imperium chooses it for you. You are born, and then you're thrust into some random position that the meat grinder of the Imperium needs you to fill. So I kind of like. It's kind of thematic in a way.
Absolutely. For the low-powered characters we're going to be playing, that's perfect. So we're going to go through the 9 characteristics. So the first one is weapon skill. I got a 32 for that. And this is your kind of raw melee combat skill for hidden and melee combat. Next up is ballistic skill. And I got a 34 for that. And that's your ranged combat characteristic. Then you have strength. Got a 30 for that, which lets you lift heavy objects and also potentially deal some extra melee damage on the combat side of things. Then we've got toughness.
Yeah, let's just
got a 25 for that.
I was going to say we can pause on that briefly because
sure.
with that. So, because what did you roll for your strength?
I got 30.
So the tens unit of your value of your characteristic is essentially the bonus that is often applied on things. So in the case of melee weapons, that strength bonus will be a 3, and so will be applied as a weapon, as a modifier to weapon damage. So equally, in say when you resist certain things, you might use your willpower bonus or when you roll that as a bonus to whatever you're doing. Anyway, what did you get for your toughness?
I got a 25. And toughness is used for damage resistance and resistance to toxins and poisons. This is actually a good point, Chris, because the bonuses that tens place in the stat is used for a lot of the derived stats, such as your wounds, initiative, etc. We're not going to really go over that, but it's actually just print on the character sheet, so it's very easy to calculate those. After toughness, we have agility. Got a 35 for that, and that's important for speed, initiative, stealth, and dodging things. Then we have intelligence, which is used for recalling data, searching for clues, and Sherlock Holmes kind of stuff. And got a 29 for that. Perception, used for spotting danger or other oddities. Got a 25 there. Willpower, which is used for mental resistance and also for psychic powers. Actually got a 35, so maybe I'm gonna randomly roll up a psyker. Let's see how this all turns up. That'll be pretty good.
You hope.
And then finally finally
that
fellowship.
Can only end well.
Finally fellowship. Got a 29 for that. And that is used for persuasion and relationship building. So you could do a little bit of that here in the 41st millennium with all of its violence and stuff.
Cool.
So
now, what else can you do? Because you've rolled these randomly. and there's a few choices here. So you can keep them as they are, which I assume you're going to.
I shall.
Yeah. But if you wanted, you could rearrange them. So in other words, you can go, I will swap my strength for my toughness, or you'll swap your fellowship for your ballistic skill. Now, if you do that, you're allowed to do that. But if you don't, so if you just keep your stats, your characteristics as they've been rolled up, that will mean you get a bonus 50 experience points, which is pretty sweet. If you do rearrange them and you're happy with those as they are, and keep them as they are, keep the values, but you've rearranged which characteristic has which value, that will mean you get 25 experience points. And if you're really not happy with your results, you can roll again and swap the characteristics around until you get something you like, but you don't get any bonus XP. And of course, alternatively, you can instead just assign characteristic points, which at that point, you may as well be just doing that. And of course, if you do that, you're not going to get any bonus XP. The downside to assigning your characteristic points is that there is a maximum that you can have and a minimum. Whereas if you roll, you're allowed to breach those maximums and minimums by just pure luck. So, Mike, you've got bonus 50 XP. That's pretty good.
I do. Yeah, I'll put that on my character sheet. Let's see if I get any more bonus XP.
Yeah. Crystal, you've been rolling along as well?
Yep. Yes, I have.
What did you get?
Okay, so wisdom is 26.
Wisdom? What do you mean WS? Weapon skill?
Yeah, sorry, that's weapon skill. Yes, 26. Sorry, I don't know all of these acronyms.
That's
I'm
okay.
assuming that BS is ballistics.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 27. Strength is 34. TGH, I'm assuming, is toughness.
Yep.
Okay, that's 26.
Okay.
Agility is 31.
Okay.
Intelligence is 30.
Okay.
Perception is 36.
Okay.
Willpower, that's willpower, right?
Yeah.
That's 36. And then fellowship is 34.
Wow, you've rolled pretty well across the board. Okay. So yeah, that's your starting characteristics. Are you going to swap anything around?
I am going to let it ride.
Okay, so that means you've then got a bonus 50 experience points as well. Let's see. So the next thing is you have to roll for your origin. So you're going to roll a D100.
All right.
Yep, I got it.
What have you got, Crystal?
I got 50.
So your origin is you are originally from a hive world, so somewhere like Necromunda, but in the Macaria sector. And this gives you some bonuses to your characteristics. These don't count as advances. So these increase your characteristic values, but they don't count as advances, because when you spend XP and so forth, you get advances. Advances are increases to your characteristics, and you can only have so many of those. These don't count as advances. So you've got +5 agility, and then you get +5 to either ballistic skill, perception, or fellowship. So you've got some choices there.
Ooh.
And Mike, what did you roll up?
I rolled a 68, which means I'm also a hive worlder. So I just quickly marked down my +5 for agility, and also did +5 for perception, because I don't know how my character is going to turn out. I figured that would be kind of a safe bet if I just go with perception. And then we do get a fun
Mike,
little
you want to be
item.
besties?
Oh, we could be. That'd be great. I can roll that up as a connection for the character later.
We'll see where we get.
But we get an item. we get an item as well, Crystal. We get ugly filtration plugs.
Oh.
So I should point out that although there are 8 entries on the origin table, ranging from Agri-World, where you're born on a farming community, to Voidborn, where you're born and raised on a spaceship, it is heavily weighted toward Hive World, which has 30% of the origins. I also rolled Hive World and thought it was weird, and then I looked at the table, and now I don't think it's that weird. It's just math.
Yeah.
So I'm the only one not from a Hive world.
Oh, right. Where's your character from then, David?
The Skull of Progenia.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it doesn't go well after that.
Fancy lad.
Yeah, it goes quite downhill after that point. It's like, I got raised nicely, and then kind of got booted out.
So the Schola Progenium is essentially where orphans of parents who died in service to the Imperium are sent and are raised. They're taught by the ecclesiarchy, and essentially is where, if you're a commissar, that's generally where you grew up and were taught. Or if you were, or in any of the other kind of important arms of the Imperium, so the Inquisition often recruits from the Schola Progenium. Elite soldiers often begin their lives and their schooling in the Schola Progenium, so members of the Tempestus Scions, so stormtroopers for the Astra Militarum, and yeah, that's pretty much what you need to know. It's basically, your military orphans.
It's also where a lot, as you said, where a lot of the ecclesiarchy come from. The high-ranking ecclesiarchy. Basically, anyone high-ranking in any of the Imperium has gone through the Schola Progenium.
You're a Mr. Fancy Pants, aren't you? Then, so you start off with a clock. You've actually got a timepiece.
Yeah,
a chrono.
I've got a watch. Not that he knows how to use it.
Onwards. So, of course, if you randomly select your origin, which we've done, you get a further 25 XP if you selected it randomly. Right. So the next question is faction. So a faction is the organization you belong to and the group that took you in and kept you alive through, your adulthood training and equipped you to perform a specific duty. So the faction you roll up doesn't have to be the same faction as your patron. It just is where you essentially did most of your learning and learned your trade. So again, we've got some tables here. Now, which faction you're from depends upon what your origin is. So, Crystal and Mike, you're going to roll a D100 again, and we're going to cross-reference with Hive World. And what are the results?
I got an 80.
You got an 80? Holy shit. You're an infractionist. You're a criminal to the bone.
For Hive Worlder, I got an 8, which means I'm part of the Adeptus Administratum. I'm part of the bureaucracy, everyone.
Excellent.
Oh, no.
You're very good at paperwork. Excellent. Right, so we've done that. That's going to lead to some bonuses and some skills and equipment in a moment, but we'll just say before we continue with that, if you've randomly determined your faction, you gain a further 75 experience points.
Dang.
So, Mike, given that it is on the next page, the Adeptus Administratum, let's have a look at what you get. You gain +5 to intelligence and +5 to either perception, willpower, or fellowship. And again, these don't count as advances.
Yep. So what I did was there's actually these 3 duties for the Adeptus Administratum, which are basically like
you've gone with the
packages
quick build.
which tell you how to
Yeah.
distribute your stuff. Yeah, the quick build. I thought that would be
Yes.
fun to keep it random as well. So there's 3 there, and I rolled D100 and got the Scrivener. So I'm a bureaucrat who's just sitting there illuminating scripts all day in a windowless citadel.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point to bring up. So once you've selected your faction, there is a package of benefits which gives you some options to select from. Like we said, it gives you some options on which characteristics you increase, which advances you want to have, a choice of equipment, or for each one of these factions, there are some duties already laid out. So in this case, for the Adeptus Administratum, there's clerk, there's an officio medicae, and there is a scrivener. So you can pick one of those, and that essentially means you can do a quick build because it tells you exactly which characteristics you've increased, exactly what skill advances you have, and what equipment you have. That doesn't mean those are some of the options it gives you. It still means you have a few benefits you get from the Adeptus Administratum benefits. So, Mike, you still have to pick. No, you still get your +1 influence with the Administratum and a contact who is a personal influence.
Mm-hmm.
You still get a data delver talent, and you also get your set of robes, a data slate, a writing kit. Damn, this dude can write. He can read and write. And he gets and your character gets 800 solars. So solars is the Macaria sector standard currency, so credits. Crystal, you have got Infractionist. So if I find that. So again, you've got a list of benefits here, or you can also, as part of your quick build, you can pick a duty. So there's Fixer, Ganger, and Hive Runner. Or you can make something that also feels a bit more different to that. Like, I think it'd be... You could easily be like a form of... I know you're Infractionist, so, I guess you could... I think you could easily say you could swap out... with talking to the GM, who is me, if you had another idea of what type of hive criminal you are, we could see which other skills or advances might fit. But if you like those that are there, then just pick one.
I would actually like to be the Fixer.
Okay, cool. So that means you get +5 agility, +5 fellowship, and advances, skill advances in athletics, dexterity, rapport, and stealth. So they're the
We're
actual
going to be
values
so good friends, Crystal.
You add together. And then your equipment is... What do you get as equipment here? Additionally, you have +1 influence with Infractionist and the well-prepared talent. A knife, a backpack, 5 D10 solars. And on top of that, you also have the following equipment. You have a stub revolver, a set of light leathers, a hammer with a shoddy and with the shoddy and ugly flaws, and a laser cutter with the shoddy and ugly flaws. So you're pretty good at breaking and entering, and you've got a pistol.
I'm not sure that's designed for doors. She's a fixer.
I think that's designed for kneecaps.
Well, that as well.
I don't know what you mean.
They came in with only one leg. It's fine. No, I'm not bloody at all.
So at this point, we'll ask Chig and David, what duties did you pick or get given with your faction?
David, you want to go first?
I rolled faction Adeptus Ministorum. So I'm a priest.
Nice.
And I rolled the duty. What was it? I took missionary.
Nice.
If I can find the book. We can go through.
So you've got willpower, perception increases.
Yep.
You've got a chainsword. Wow.
Yes. I got a chainsaw.
An auto pistol. You've got a loud hailer.
I do get an auto pistol. I've not noticed that.
200 solars. You've got some robes, a holy icon, a backpack, and you've got the faithful talent.
Yes.
Pretty cool. And Chig, what did you get as your faction?
I rolled randomly and got Astra Militarum, so I am a ground pounder.
And what duty did you pick?
Well, I was going to go ahead and do it myself, but then I realized I was building a scout, so I just took scout.
Okay, cool. So that means you've got things like you're good at toughness and ballistic skill, you're good at ranged shooting and stealth. You've got a chameleon cloak and a las carbine. Nice.
And a knife.
And then also you've got a knife, an Astra Militarum flak armor, a frag grenade, 300 solars, and some the drilled talent. Mostly means you're good at standing your ground and shooting rapidly at advancing enemies.
Also, if anybody else wants to take the drilled talent, we work better as a unit.
Nice. Right. Well, that is choosing factions and duties. Obviously, within these duties, you may find it doesn't kind of fit what you want to play. You might have a very particular idea of what type of character you want to play. So if you go to page 362 in the rulebook, you'll see a list of archetypes which will be recognizable character types, miniatures that you can get from Games Workshop for Warhammer 40,000. So there are things like Acolyte of the Sister of Silence. There is a Cadet Commissar. There is a Death Cult Assassin. There is a Sanctioned Psyker. There is a Tech Priest. There is... weirdly, there isn't an Adeptus Arbites cadet on there, but you could easily make one of those. And so if you look at those archetypes, you look at the origins, the faction, and the role, that will help guide you then on the selection of origin, faction, and role to get all the stat increases and benefits so that you can tailor-make your character to fit these quite specific archetypes. So I think that's pretty cool. Right. So you've done all your random rolling so far, and there's now even more stuff to sort out. So next up is the role. So the role is the role that you perform within your group. So this is the role that you're performing for the patron. So this is quite different to, say, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, where you randomly determine your characteristics, you randomly determine your heritage, whether a dwarf or a human or an elf, and then you randomly determine your career. This, I think, it's a lot more split up. Like your career, you're not locked into a career. You're performing a role that may be tangentially related to your career before what you're doing now for your patron. So we've got a few things to do. We're gonna so you choose a role and gain its benefits, or you can allow your patron to determine your role and as they see fit. And if your patron chooses the role to perform, you gain 50 XP. Right. So what do you want to do then, Mike? Do you want your patron, me, to pick your role, or
I do.
Okay, first of all, Chig and David, what roles do you have?
I have
what
the
are the
role
roles.
Okay, I have the role of Zealot, which I determined randomly by rolling 1d6 because there are 6 entries.
Okay.
I also have Zealot because I thought it fit with a mad priest with a chainsword.
Okay, so we've got 2 mad zealots, one who is actually, part of the Imperial cult, or was, and one who is someone that actually is a soldier that actually has faith. Okay, that's cool. Now, when you pick your role, it's going to give you some talents, which is useful. It's going to give you some skill advances, some specializations in your skills as well, and give you further equipment. So, you gain like a knife, a great weapon, a chainsword, a las pistol, or hand flamer, a set of heavy leathers, or a robe, a holy icon. So that's all for zealot. Right. So if you've got 2 zealots, I think that's interesting because I think it might mean for the patron they have engaged with your faith in the Imperium, that and you've been convinced that there is a dark heresy that has to be confronted, and that's why you've
Holy war.
And you understand that that to do this requires you to work against the wider Imperium to an extent for its benefit. Remember. Plus, remember, you're working for a criminal mastermind. They've got a lot of credits, right? There's a lot of credits. So, therefore, I need to pick roles for the other 2 characters. Right. So, let's have a look. We've got interlocutor, which is essentially problem solvers, wordsmiths, and data analysts. That might well fit Mike's character quite good with their administratum background. We've got mystic, which means you gain the psycho talent if you do not already have it. That I might just do that. We've got penumbra, which is you basically assassins, thieves, spies, covert ops. That might well work good for Crystal's character. Savant is their scholars and experts in technical things, like you might be from you can work on machines, or you have some understanding of biology, stuff like that. And then there's warrior, which is obviously speaks for itself. You're a soldier, or at least you're the muscle in the group. So yeah, Mike, I think I want you to be, well, let's see. What do you want me to pick, or do you want to pick for yourself?
I would like the bonus XP, so please pick for me.
Okay, right, fine.
My great patron, pick for me.
You're going to be the interlocutor. You're going to be the problem solver with words. You're going to be able to craft. He's more capable at crafting documents, forgeries, all that kind of thing, which is important for the group to perform its missions. It also means you're going to be, when you find evidence, you're going to be able to more easily delve through data vaults and archives of scrolls and so forth to find the information that your patron requires to reestablish their noble standing. And then Crystal.
Excellent.
I mean, it could go in Mystic, but that means also then you have to deal with psychic powers and stuff. And maybe for an introductory kind of thing we're doing, that's quite a lot in one session. So let's keep things easy with most things. So let's go with Penumbra. You are the thief, assassin, covert spy, which I think fits well with you being a fixer. So on Mike's end of things, that means you get some bonus talents. You've got a few choices. It says choose 4 of the following talents, like Air of Authority, Briber, Deal Maker, Overseer. There's some skill advances in linguistics and awareness, etc. There's some specializations in intuition, presence, and rapport. And then you get some bonus equipment. You gain a knife, a las pistol or stub revolver, some survival gear, a vox bead, or a loud hailer, a picked recorder, or a vox caster. And either a loud hailer, picked recorder, or Voxcaster. And then Crystal, you've got some cool talents like Burglar, Familiar Terrain, Read Lips, some advances in awareness and dexterity to pick from, specializations in ranged combat and reflexes, and then equipment, get some knives, an auto pistol or a las pistol, a long las or a sniper rifle, holy shit, a silencer, a smoke grenade, a set of survival gear, and a Vox speed. You also gain 2 of the following: an Auspex, a comm leech, a disguise kit, a grapnel and line, a set of binoculars, basically, a multi-key, a pitch recorder, a set of photo visors, or a signal jammer. So you got some cool gear there.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions about some of them.
Yes, let's do that, because this is some special stuff. Yep.
Yeah, this is all like a lot more crunchy stuff with all of this stuff. So Skulker, I'm assuming that's like hiding very well, just from the context of the word.
Yeah, let me... Skulker, is either an advanced in navigation and stealth. You have a talent for tailing people without being noticed.
Gotcha. Okay.
I have a question here.
Yeah.
Do you have to meet those requirements at character generation if it's a talent that you can take just for it being part of your role, your background, your whatever?
Let's see.
I don't think it mentions that, so I think you can.
I don't think it does either, which is why I was curious.
Because some of these talents are really difficult to meet the criteria for at character generation.
Yeah,
some of them are impossible at character generation.
Yeah, it does say that you can, if it's given to you by like your role, for example.
Yeah, it says
you
ignore
are
the
able to take
requirements.
it. That might not be in the original PDF
Okay,
you're looking at. It's on the little side thing.
Page 74, last paragraph. It says ignore the requirements for talents and skill specializations gained from your role.
It also says that if you decide to not go random and choose your own ones, you must meet the requirements.
That's fair.
Yes, that's good.
Which obviously then limits you. So randomization allows you to get some really good talents, whereas specifically choosing them really limits your options. Basically, this entire system is geared towards you making random ass characters because you get so many bonuses and access to so much more stuff randomizing it.
So, Mike, what kind of things are you picking?
Well, I'm going to have to go through and really read all these talents a bit more closely before I pick them.
Sure.
But one feature of Imperium Maledictum is that you can roll one of your talents randomly, and it doesn't have to be one that is on your as part of your roll. So I've just done that. It's kind of an optional rule, but the one I got, which is quite fitting with the 2 zealots we have, is flagellant, or I've heard it pronounced flagellant. Not sure which is the correct pronunciation.
Yeah, so, flagellant. Yeah.
So it seems like I whip myself to become closer to the God Emperor of Mankind. So
doesn't it keep you awake as you're just spending hours and hours in front of a screen? You do it just to keep yourself focused on the screen.
Yeah, I like it.
It's your version of caffeine.
Excellent. Okay, cool. That's great. And then Crystal, you got any other questions or ideas for what things you want?
No, because you guys also answered the "do I have to meet these requirements" question. So that was the other big one that I had.
Cool. Any questions about the equipment? Because there's a lot of... I think it all pretty much speaks for itself. So like a Vox speed is just that you've got a little earpiece earpiece to hear the rest of the team. You've got an Auspex, that's basically a scanner. A comm leech says what it is. It means you can listen in on other people's communications. The magnoculars are binoculars. A multi-key is a multi-key for unlocking things. A pict recorder is basically just a video camera. Photo visors allow you to operate in low light, and a signal jammer is exactly that. So you're quite well set up for like really screwing with people. Cool. Okay. Right. Let's carry on with anything else that needs to be randomly determined. So, equipment. Obviously, you've got some equipment options that you will have gained so far through all the random choices. But also, you can spend your starting credits, your starting solars, on any extra equipment you would like from the armory. So, as it says here, in addition, you may purchase a number of items from the armory with an availability of common. You may also purchase a single scarce item. So they're just basically preventing people from like buying like a bolt gun and a bolt pistol because they are
good luck,
hard to get hold of. Yeah.
So one of the wonderful things about just before we go from there, one of the wonderful things about this game over Wrath and Glory, because we're playing baseline humans and we're playing like the dregs of society, even though I've ended up with about 1,000 solar creds, I can't spend them because the equipment is ridiculously expensive. It's not meant to be that easy for us to get hold of this kind of stuff. So you do actually we are like a normal guy on the street is not going to be able to walk up to somebody and go, "Hi, have you got a lasgun for sale? Can I buy a lasgun, please?" And they go, yeah. It's going to cost you 10,000 credits or whatever it is in the book. They're quite expensive. So I quite like that as a mechanic. So it's like, yes, you can if you've got the money. And we don't.
I would if you were playing certain character types, really specific ones, from the back of the book, like if you were an enforcer cadet, I might let you have a bolt gun. But that would mean though you would start with almost no credits. I would be making the thing of like you've got no bonus XP because you've taken all your choices already taken for you to build this specific character type. You're going to have some great armor to start with. You have some flak armor. You'll have a bolt gun, but that's because you've been built for a very particular task. You're just out of the academy ready to crack heads. Same with if you were playing a commissar. I think a commissar should always have like a bolt pistol and a chainsword, because how else are you going to execute Imperial Guardsmen who aren't following orders? Things like that. Right, so we've got some further random tables. These don't give you bonus XP. They're just, we're on to the flavor, essentially. So this is the detail. So names. You can roll a D100 and pick a name. You've got low Gothic, high Gothic, archaic, informal, or esoteric. I quite like the idea that, Crystal, your character might have an esoteric name, being that they're a fixer and a bit of a spy.
So I actually picked an archaic one.
Oh, cool.
From that, because I felt like it was also something that can be bounced around. So I rolled a 25 on there, cool. And I looked across and I picked Genevieve.
Cool.
Because you can adjust that name to a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah. Okay, great. And Mike, what name have you gone for or rolled?
I rolled off of High Gothic, and I got Erissa.
Cool. And then there's some rolls to do for physical appearance. So there's the age of your characters and distinguishing features like eyes, hair, height. So there's a few tables for that. And you can pick with the age. There's whether they're a recruit, a veteran, or they've been taking drugs to extend their life, or they're augmented. So what age are your characters?
Mine's 33. And definitely want to go over the eyes and the hair table, because that is a lot of fun. Really brings out the characters.
Eye types of mournful or wild or calculating, mesmerizing, fiery. I mean, I think these are really good tables because if you're definitely new to role play, and thus creating a character and creating a description that other players can latch onto. These tables, even if you're not randomly rolling on it, you're just picking. It gives you a way of really figuring out who your character is. So yeah, Mike, have you rolled on all these tables?
I did. So for eyes, Arissa's eyes are forlorn.
Okay.
So quite thematic to the Imperium. And for hair, I got brown colored hair, but then for hairstyle, I got wires. So I assume just wires and tubes and other things are just sticking out of her skull. Pretty good.
Great. And distinguishing feature?
Completely unremarkable.
Brilliant. And Crystal, what have you rolled up?
So far, she is 28. Her eyes are calculating.
Love it.
And then I got multiple for hair, so I gotta figure that out yet. Blonde. And blonde and purple. Okay.
Brilliant. Definitely a ganger. Definitely from the Underhive.
And then style is long and elaborate. So I'm assuming she probably has like braids or something like that.
It definitely sounds like someone from a gang that is very similar to House Escher on Necromunda.
That's exactly where my brain went. House Escher.
I was really hoping you were going to roll the transplanted from an equine or other animal, so we could explain why you have a purple horse's mane with blonde highlights. Just the tips. Excellent. Blonde tips.
So, Chicken David, what's your character's names and appearance like then?
Off you go, Chig.
My character is named Quentin. He is 24. He has haunted blue eyes, black, close-cropped hair. He is visibly scarred over every inch of his body that you can see.
Wow.
He's had a rough life.
He's definitely survived at least the first 15 minutes of being an Imperial Guardsman. Well done.
That's why he got picked by Lord Prefectus Scythia of Subsector Alpha.
Yep. And David, your character?
Yeah, his name is Zarkov. He is 30 years old. His eyes are old and grey, and he has braided green hair. Now, I'm taking that green as not being literally dyed green. Because he's a missionary, he's gone off to the slums or somewhere and just hasn't washed it for years. And so he's braided it, and it's just kind of gone a bit mouldy.
Gross.
Yeah, that is gross.
There are more important things in the world than cleanliness, and one of those is being clean with the Lord.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. So, to wrap up then, sorry. To wrap up, so your characters have short-term goals. These are goals that are your immediate objectives. They are outcomes you wish to achieve within days and weeks, possibly sooner. Under normal circumstances, a short-term goal should take at least 2 or 3 sessions to complete. And short-term goals are important because they will give a bonus when completed. And then you have long-term goals. Long-term goals are ambitions that you will need to work for many months or even years to achieve. And so, for example, a short-term goal is take revenge against a local gang member, uncover a criminal behind a series of thefts. A long-term goal is such as ruin a rogue trader dynasty, or acquire its or destroy a major cult of the ruinous powers. And if you achieve your long-term goal, you earn 500 experience points. If you achieve your short-term goal, you get 50 XP and you pick a new short-term goal. If you achieve your long-term goal, you should choose a new long-term goal, or alternatively, it might be deemed that if you've achieved that long-term goal, it makes sense for your character to retire and so becomes an NPC. But if you do so, you gain a bonus of half of the earned experience points of your current character to spend on your next character. So if you've earned 1,000 XP in play with your character, that includes the 500 XP they've just got from achieving their long-term goal. That gives you 500 extra XP to spend on your next character if you achieve that long-term goal. So it's kind of like saying, hey, play the game and churn through as many characters as possible, right?
It's also very thematic. It's like, you're a squishy human going out to fight big bad. You're going to die.
So have a good think about what your short-term and long-term goals. I'm having a look at the other things that we can randomly determine.
Divination.
So connections.
And there's also
connections
divination.
are things which are relationships that help create the shared background for the party. It suggests that you determine at least 2 connections, one to another player character, one to your patron. If another player doesn't agree with your chosen or rolled connection, you can pick a different one. So I guess at this point, no one has rolled connections yet, other than for the patron, maybe?
I did.
Didn't even do that.
I rolled both of mine.
Okay.
So I'll share the first one I rolled. I knew about Chig's character, Quentin, so I rolled for us, if you don't mind. And apparently, something happened in the past that we don't want to talk about. What do you think it is, Chig? It was an incident. An incident happened that we'd rather keep quiet. That's the actual language from the table.
Oh, I've got a good answer for you. You, I think you witnessed, Mike, and Chig committed in a drunken brawl, killed a Imperial noble who was slumming it. And it only became clear it was an Imperial noble when you were like, oh, they're dead, let's check their pockets. Oh, shit. There's a signet ring of this Imperial noble. And so the only thing you could do was steal the signet ring, well, actually steal everything that was on their body and dump the body somewhere. And so technically, you're mostly still wanted for the murder of this Imperial noble. And more than likely, your patron knows that you did this, and that's how you got first hired.
I would like to further say that since we're both from a hive world, we're from the same hive world, and this happened before I joined the military, and in fact is the reason why I ran away to join the military. I volunteered.
Nice.
Perfect.
I was not given as a tribute or anything. I had
you
to
joined up before
get out of
conscription
Dodge.
came along.
Yeah. Would you say as well, this is what the patron has kind of like hanging over us, the sword of Damocles hanging over us, and why we're kind of in their service? Because the patron knows somehow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
And Mike, what's the other connection you have?
So this was an interesting one. I rolled for the patron, and it says, I know what Lord Scythia really is.
Oh, shit. So
which is quite
means,
the loaded roll.
Yeah, that means Lord Scythia, obviously, they masquerade as like some, master of some crime syndicate, but you actually know that they're a fallen noble. So you're quite deep in that knowledge and know the paperwork.
Which could be quite scary, considering you also know that Chig killed a noble.
It is. I'm frightened. I'm frightened. I'm flagellating myself every night.
Flagellating.
Okay, cool. So that's your 2 connections. And so Chig, one of your connections is already sorted out. To Mike. And then what is your other connection?
Well, okay, if that's one of my 2 connections is sorted out. I rolled a 44.
You can have more connections than 2.
I am positive that I saw Genevieve die.
We each roll 2, and so that second connection that is with somebody else, you just connect the whole circle. You go around the whole circle, don't you? So we're all connected somehow. But we also have that then other connection to Bossman.
Gotcha.
So do I need to roll a connection for you as well?
No. It says we suggest at least 2 connections, one to another player and one to your patron. So obviously, if it's between 2 players, that's each their 1 connection, and then you generate another one. It's okay as long as we get enough connections that mean we have a party. It's just again, it's simply there because if you're a group of players that don't know how, you've never done roleplay before and trying to work out how your characters work together, that's there to establish some drama and background.
Okay, so am I positive that I saw Lord Scythia die with that 44? Is that my tie to the patron?
I mean, it could still be my character. It's just a minimum of 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's say you're certain you've seen Crystal's character Genevieve die.
I think that works because,
yeah,
you saw a big explosion where Genevieve was, and then there was no Genevieve. But
and
that's what
then
Genevieve
there was Genevieve.
So
it makes you suspicious of her.
Yeah.
That's actually legit because with like Skulker and stuff like that, I absolutely know how to disappear.
Fake your own death.
Yeah.
Fake my own death.
Cool. Okay, so Crystal, what have you rolled for connections?
Okay, who am I rolling for still?
You can roll 1 for the patron.
Or Zarkov.
And Zarkov, yeah, that would be good.
I've got a good one for my connection with the patron, so you can make up anything for us if you want.
Okay, I will roll for Zarkov first. So mine is... I have a single silvered bullet. It is engraved with several words in High Gothic and has your name on it.
That really doesn't surprise me.
Does it literally have his name on it?
As I said, we're going to get on really well.
Excellent. That's really good.
And then my patron.
Yep.
Ooh, 99. I suspect that he's a traitor.
Oh,
that's fair, given everything going on. Yeah.
So the assassin wants to
not a far leap.
So you work for your patron, but you do suspect that they are actually a heretic.
Yes.
Cool. And David?
Okay. So I can't remember what the number was, but I did randomly roll this. The patron knows I hid a loved one from the black ships.
Oh, right. Cool. You've got a loved one who's a psychic.
Well,
that then truly explains why you're
running away from the ecclesiarchy very quickly.
Yeah, right. Well, that explains everything. Yeah, I think possibly Knows I hid a loved one from the black ships. I mean, it could be even deeper than that. That your loved one who is a psyker is kept safe by the patron in return for that psyker's services.
Possibly. I was thinking that whoever this is, whether they're a psyker or the Inquisition were hiring, it was one of my flock. So I'd gone off and then fallen in love with one of the people, and it's like, no, please don't take away my lovely. And now is being used to guide the ships.
Brilliant. Right. So, and then after this, after the random connections thing, we've now got 10 questions that guides you through to basically flesh out your character a bit more, think about what they think about and who they are. So there's a question about what is your faith, essentially like how much do you believe? Maybe do you really believe in the God Emperor? Do you just give the Imperial faith lip service, or are you, if you're an admech, are you more towards the machine cult, things like that? Or obviously you may believe in some heretical cult, things like that. What is your family? Again, some questions about your family depending upon your origin and the faction you're in. So, maybe you've grown up in a family who have always been involved in crime, or maybe you got out of crime by got out of the work that your family were doing in some manufactorum by becoming a criminal. David, in your case, I mean, there's some good questions there on who your dead parents are.
I need to go through all that, so one bit I'm not done.
Who's your closest ally? So again, this may be this is an NPC that you have close ties to, maybe that you consult or are actually honest with about what you do. What do you fear? In that, as it says, there's a lot to fear in the 41st millennium. Yeah, but obviously you can only fear what you know. So have a think about what things you may have encountered, and why you might fear them. What do you desire? Again, why are you doing what you're doing? What is your ultimate goal? Is it spiritual salvation? Is it money? Is it freedom? Where does your loyalty lie? Is it with the Emperor? Is it with the Imperium? Is it one of the particular institutions? Are you loyal to your patron? Things like that. Why did your patron choose you? I think most of that's been answered quite well so far. Needed some muscle and had some reason to press gang you into service. Needed someone that was good with, data and law to work through that. Needed someone good at stealing stuff and was able to pay off enforcers who were mostly on your tail. And with David, needed someone that, with their close ties to the ecclesiarchy, allows them to operate more openly on Macarius.
Yeah, I'm sure the ecclesiarchy love me.
Well,
I would say they probably wouldn't know me until they got to know me, and when they got to know me, they wouldn't love me.
But I mean, given Mike's character skills, they're able to quite happily, make false documentation, so you're able to quite happily, walk into any temple, and pretend to be someone that is of a higher rank than you actually are. And then, what do you think of your patron? That's an interesting question. What do you hate? Do you hate the heretic, the mutant, the alien, or do you just hate the Imperium? Do you hate particular gangs or other organizations? What are you willing to sacrifice? That's for your goals. So what are you willing to do? And then after all of having a good think about those questions, we've got all the drive stats. So we'll just go through this quickly. So maximum wounds is equal to your strength bonus. So that's the 10s unit of your strength, plus 2 times your toughness bonus, plus your willpower bonus. Your critical wounds, you can suffer a maximum number of critical wounds equal to your toughness bonus. if you have more critical wounds than your toughness bonus at the start of your turn, your character at the end of your turn, your character dies at the start of your next turn. Nice and squishy. Initiative, that's equal to your initiative bonus. Your perception bonus plus your agility bonus. So again, that just helps with determining how quickly you act in a fight. Fate represents your character's destiny and perhaps an armed, powerful entity upon them. It can help you succeed where you would otherwise fail, and you begin with 3 fate points. Handedness, essentially just pick whether you're left or right-handed, and that means if you try to perform an action with your offhand, like if you've got a las pistol in one hand and a chainsword in the other, depending on what hand is your primary hand, the other one will have a penalty when using it in combat. So that's all those derived stats. And then we have finally the nice bit, which is divination. So much like in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, if your character dies in a particular way, which matches your divination, your new character will get bonus experience points, which is great. So, Mike, what did the Imperial Priest declare was your way of death when you were born? Or, read your fate?
Yes. Logic is the enemy of faith.
What? Wow. Okay. So,
yeah.
That's going to be curious how we determine that will ever relate to if your character ever dies. Fun, good. And Crystal?
So mine was the blood of martyrs is the blade of the Imperium made strong.
Cool.
Whoa.
And Chig, what did you roll up?
Success is measured in blood, yours or your enemies.
Nice. And David, what did you get?
Gonna die old and in bed, surrounded by loved ones, clearly.
Definitely. Turn from the Emperor's light at your peril.
Wow. Cool. And then we've got advancements as the final. So this is obviously, you've got all this XP that you've accrued from randomly rolling. If you have XP as a result of leaving your character creation choices to the roll of die, you may spend it before beginning play. If you rolled randomly to generate every aspect of your character, you will have in total 200 experience points to spend. So you can spend these in particular ways. Each advance in a characteristic raises the characteristic by 1, unless otherwise stated otherwise. The characteristics of a normal human cannot go above 60. Each advance in a skill increases a skill by 5. You can have a maximum of 4 advances in a skill and a maximum of 4 advances in a specialization. And purchasing new talents costs 100 XP. And there's a table with how much an advance costs for a skill, for a characteristic, or a skill or specialization, because they get cumulatively more expensive as you go up. So to buy your first advance in a skill is going to cost you 5 experience points. The second one's going to cost you 10. The next one 15. The next one 20. So you've got all of those XP to spend on a character. And as an aside, because obviously I'm sure Mike, Crystal, you'll be working through those and all the other choices that we've laid out that you still maybe yet to make. And Chig and David, I'm sure you've gone through and spent all of your XP that you had.
I've got 60 remaining to spend.
I haven't spent a single one. I had a question.
Okay.
Can my character be a blank?
Question? Can they be a blank?
Can they be a blank?
You want to buy the talent of blank? Is it a talent?
It is a talent. So my character has the talent of faithful imperial cult, which I've written down gives him paladin shit.
Yeah,
I would like his long-term goal to be obtain a soul.
Wow.
Your soul or
He's not really that particular.
I am totally fine with this.
So a blank basically means you're a psychic blank. So you that will mean
my loved one is going to have a headache around you.
Yeah, essentially,
Everyone has
means,
a headache around me.
Yeah.
Have you met me?
But also, it's great because psychic being in the presence of a psychic blank is an important weapon when against against actual psychers. So you nullify their abilities, which is really powerful. So the fact that you're a psychic blank is great, isn't it? I think Mike, isn't it in the Caiaphas Cain novel series that Caiaphas is like second, second hand, right hand man is a psychic blank, but it's like I believe I heard this on the Paint Face, like is always voiced in like a country bumpkin, like Yorkshireman kind of voice, like I don't know, sir, but I don't rightly know, Commissar, but his psychic powers aren't working against me, but I think we're okay.
Yeah, he's Baldric. Caiaphas Cain's Blackadder, and that guy's Baldric.
And because he's a psychic blank, apparently in one book he's quite able to handle this like dangerous piece of warp-based technology. He's able to just pick it up and it has no effect on him whatsoever because he has no psychic abilities and he's a blank. Whereas when he hands it off to someone else, their brains literally explode. So yeah, be a psychic blank's cool. Yeah, Jake, you can be a psychic blank for 100 XP.
Woo!
Done.
The Tau are going to be very interested in you.
Yeah, it's the Tau. You don't know who the
Space
Tau
commies.
I don't know who that is.
Also, as an aside, there is a sidebar which says if everyone agrees, you can create more experienced characters. So obviously there's something we might explore at a later date. Perhaps they were recruited later in their careers, or maybe you are playing a very established group of characters in service to their patron. If you do this, characters can begin play with you could maybe start with 500 experience points, or an extra cash, or maybe a full 1000 XP and further influence as well. So you can, if you really want to play some like characters that have seen some shit, you can do that. Cool. And that's character creation done. So are there any other details or choices that people want to reveal about their characters?
I have a hand flamer and a chainsword, and I'm a priest.
Nice.
Perfect.
That's just brilliant.
I can't believe I randomly rolled this. I can even see the character, like the old Necromunda Redemptionist priest model, and it's like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Shame I've got green hair, because red hair and just like having a brazier on my head would have been cool. But
so I rolled like a distinguishing feature for my character too, and I got that she's wrapped in scripture parchments and purity seals.
Holy shit!
And I feel uncomfortable without them. I actually want to adjust that just slightly, in that the scripture is actually the Hive faction stuff that I was brought up in, the Hive cults.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, you're part of you were brought up in a local cult within the Underhive. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, something akin to the Redemptionist Crusade on Necromunda. It would be equivalent to that.
That's not the Imperial Creed. Be gone with you, heretic.
That's very cool.
And that's why I have a bullet with your name on it.
If I survive the first session without you killing me, I consider that a goal.
That's your short-term goal.
Crystal, given that you've got a bullet with their name on it,
yeah,
I think that must mean that your character has an auto pistol, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You can't have a las pistol and have bullets. That just is nonsense.
No, I like the idea that she just has a single bullet, just one,
and then
she's saving it for a special occasion.
Did you pick a long las or a sniper rifle?
A sniper rifle.
Nice. Okay.
I've got an itch in the back of my head. Great. What?
And then what type of gear did you pick in the end? What 2 bits of gear did you pick?
I picked, what is it? A picked recorder and a con leech.
Cool. And Mike, what things were you picking out of your equipment?
Oh, I took I think a picked recorder. That was the piece of equipment I got.
Nice.
And then just like a stub revolver. I thought that was thematic. Just a little Saturday Night Special, just like hiding in the pocket, and a knife. Yeah. I'm a lover,
and
not a
the
fighter.
talents. The talents I picked are Reading Lips and Skulker.
Yeah. So Mike, your character is very good with words. You're able to like connive and trick people with what you say. So I could definitely see your character quite happily like quoting imperial scripture or like well it was by, I believe, Rebute Gilliam once said, as you hold a pistol at someone's head. Things like that. You're quite the wordsmith. That's
Absolutely.
gonna be wicked.
Yeah, but
That's
it seems
gonna
like
be
I
wicked.
can't wordsmith myself into a better promotion. Still just down here in the basement copying what I've written down here. I'm like illuminating like air density reports and other stuff. That's probably my day job.
You're such a good wordsmith that you know what the word promotion is and means.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But the other thing, it's interesting what it says with this, with your role of interlocutor, because it also says like, because of their skill with like words and convincing people of things or deception, they're also quite good at interrogation as well. So I don't know, what kind of style are you going for?
I don't see the interrogator side of things, although I should probably go watch that on Warhammer Plus.
Oh yeah.
What's your rapport? Or, I'm sorry, what's your fellowship?
My fellowship's like okay.
You could just be good cop.
Oh no, it's not that good. It's 29. I'm basically average.
We could be good cop.
I could get some points in rapport. I might do that. I might put a couple advances into rapport.
I've got rapport of 42 and presence of 45.
Oh,
so
wow, really you're literally just telling people to like venerate the Emperor.
Yeah, I'm very, very good at telling people what to do. I'm not very good at hurting them, but that's why I have a chainsword. I don't need to be good if the chainsword hits.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, that's pretty much it for everyone watching this. We've gone through character building a lot. I guess at this point, I think we've got an idea of what I think we've got a good feel. So, David, you said your character's very good at like persuading people and interacting. Not much of a fighter, more of an orator.
Yeah, so I've got some of the skills that I've got. So I've got the loud hailer, which is basically a loudspeaker. I've got faithful, frenzy, hatred. So I hate anybody who's not good at that. I've got rapport of 42, presence of 45, law of 51, discipline of 54. The guy he's a very, very strong priest.
And you said you've got faithful, and what other talents did you say?
Faithful, frenzy, and hatred.
Holy crap.
So basically, if nobody agrees with me about who is the Holy God Emperor, hold me back.
Okay, so you're not much of a fighter, but if you get pissed off, you can be, which is
yes.
Good. Whereas by comparison, Chig, your talents you've gone for are kind of what?
Well, I got drilled for free, as it were. I took Hatred of Heretics, Faithful in the Imperial Cult, and I just bought Blank for 100 XP, so doing all right. His backstory is he was a behind the line scout. He came across a heretic cult. The heretic cult tortured him and tried to sacrifice him, but turns out that you can't sacrifice somebody who doesn't have a soul. Nobody cares if you're going to sacrifice them. So
that must be really shit for them, like trying to summon a demon through you, like, or make you into a demon host and be like, why is this not working?
It's guys, like... I don't think this is going to work, you guys. I'm sorry. So he escaped. He fought his way out. He didn't kill the entire cult. So his short-term goal is to go back and kill the rest of that cult.
Excellent.
After After that, for some reason, he was approached by the patron to pull him out of his scouting duties. Perhaps related to the fact that the patron knows that he killed a noble, or maybe because the patron says, "Hey, wait a minute, why did that demon summoning not work?"
Even more fun, what if that noble you recognized from the cult that tried to sacrifice you?
That also works for me. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really awesome tie-in. Excellent. Cool. Cool. Okay. And Crystal, kind of what talents have you been picking for your character then?
So far I have well prepared, read lips, and skulker.
Cool. You are literally just a spy looking down a sniper scope, reading people's lips, and then doing headshots. That's great.
Yep.
And listening in on people. That's brilliant. You're all kind of quite... Well, no, I was going to say you're all kind of quite sneaky, but you're all... No. No.
Sneaky is the best thing is the thing that I'm best at. I'm only got a 45 in that. I rolled real poorly for all my characteristics.
Sneaky is agility, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 20. I got 27.
I have 2 advances in that, and I'm only at 45.
I'm at 27, and I'm not taking any advances in it.
Right.
That chainsaw noisy.
Is there any other questions or anything we should cover before we wrap up then?
I think
party. Don't we need a party sheet?
Oh yeah, the party sheet. What's the party sheet all about? I can't remember.
It's the party boat.
There's a character sheet, patron sheet. Where's the party sheet? It's not in here. It's not in the back of the book.
I've got it open. It's actually quite a simple sheet. It mostly just tracks like who's in the party, our patron, different assets we have. It tracks goals for the party as well as the I think just for the party. Lists allies and enemies. One of the big things is about superiority, which is not a mechanic I'm familiar with, but that can be adjusted as we defeat enemies or elites and troops. Basically in combat, we can lose superiority if our party members are wounded, if we're defeated or dead, if we're taken by surprise. So it interacts mostly mechanically with combat, it seems like.
Yeah, so I'll just read that here because I think we've already explained that a lot of the mechanics are going to be similar to what you may have seen for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. It's percentile based, where you're going to be rolling 2d10, a d100, and you'll be scoring below your skill rating plus or minus modifier for the difficulty of the thing that you're doing. So superiority is the following. Given the high stakes, researching your enemies, building a plan, or using shock and awe to gain the upper hand are often the key to success. Superiority is a group resource that represents the power of your party's preparation and momentum during combat. So this basically means that it's very much that thing of, say, if we're going to compare to another game that's also all about sneaking about and fucking shit up, which is Blades in the Dark. It's about that preparation, because you are not, the soldiers and fighters we are used to seeing in Wrath and Glory. You need to, observe your targets, prepare your schemes, map out places before you raid them. And so superiority represents that benefit you get before you finally get into the trenches and face your enemies. So superiority also interacts with an NPC stat called Resolve. If during combat the party's total superiority is greater than the resolve of their enemies or their leader if present, the enemy become desperate. So essentially, it has an influence on how the enemy are going to respond to you, and also gives you bonuses in combat and so forth. So that's quite cool. I like that. Right. Well, I think that's it then for now. Unless there's any last questions or comments.
No. I'll just bring up that we're going to put my character sheet for Arissa, and also some of the show notes explaining how characters are generated, just to help people out. I'll put that up on our blog, and we'll include a link in the show notes.
Cool. And again, if people need to want to get in contact with us, any questions, they can email us at darkdaysradio@gmail.com. They can go over to our Discord, which links are in the show notes. They can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads at Darker Days Radio, and and obviously go over to the blog. There'll be a link on the show notes there to get to that, to look at, as Mike said, the character sheets and other stuff. And that's it for now. So next time, we'll be recording in like 2 weeks' time. So you've got a bit of a wait before then. We'll be playing a session using the pre-written scenario for for Imperium Maledictum. So we'll be playing through that. We'll see how much we get through it. And then once we've done that, we'll be looking at another game. So which game are we going to look at next? I can't remember.
Old Gods of Appalachia, I think.
I thought it was either that or Cult.
We're going to do Cult. We're going to give me some time.
Oh, that's right. That's going to be closer to October.
Yeah. Someone in the Discord requested Old Gods of Appalachia. Me and Crystal both have it and know it.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be good. And then we've got some other bits we can look at. I mean, heck, we can always do Vampire 5th edition. No, we've done Vampire loads. We'll find a different game.
We've
got this.
Big, strong hands. Good, strong hands.
Good, strong hands.
I will get that name right one day in my life. That should be coming up on YouTube at some point as well.
Yeah, we could do. Like I said, we've got Cyborg, so we could go through that. That would be fun.
Pigs in space.
We've got. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at all my books up there. Yeah, we've got a few things. We've got Blades in the Dark. I've not played Blades in the Dark, so I'm sure.
I would love to.
I have yet to. Every group that has said, "Yeah, let's go play," has fallen through. So
I've run Blades in the Dark for my local gaming group. So if you guys would like to run a real quick one shot of Blades in the Dark, I could run that.
What we're asking.
We could also get Chris
all right. So Chig's gonna run that. So
yeah.
Cool.
And
not like next week or anything, but
Yeah, no.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
And then, obviously, if you've got suggestions of other games, we're going to be picking out some other things. I'm sure we could go through Pip system and do a Pip one shot.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that. I'm trying to think.
I want to do slasher Pip with you guys.
Yeah. I would like to go through Iron Kingdom's Requiem, so we can do some D&D 5th edition, sure, but it's flavored by Iron Kingdom, so
I would love to see that.
And we can do the first part of. We can do a quick play of some of Legend of the Witchfire. On that note, things keep an eye out for on the horizon is Eldritch Automata. In the end, made about 2/3 of its funding, so will be coming back in the future. So that's from Gehenna Gaming, and I did some writing for that. Vow of Absolution for Wrath and Glory is getting closer. I know it is getting closer. So there's stuff coming out for that. I'm quite excited about that because Space Marines. Then also on the horizon is Strange Light Workshop for Iron Kingdom's Requiem, and that would be kind of cool to do this again for, because so the latest Primecast is out for that, and I will just say briefly, and we'll finish this episode. What that is you know how you've got the Iron Kingdom's books already for D&D 5e. So there's Requiem, there's Borderlands and Beyond, there's Nightmare Empire. Oh God, that would be a fun thing to build, is Nightmare Empire characters. Fucking hell, that would be mad.
Yes.
But anyway, the point is, there's those books which are very much standard Iron Kingdoms, are very combat based. Strange Light Workshop is ghost hunting and spirit hunting in the Iron Kingdoms. So it is a standalone book from the others. So you just need the D&D 5e rules and that book to play ghost hunting in the Iron Kingdoms, because your characters are very much not fighters like the rest of the Iron Kingdoms. So
Crystal's getting excited.
Yes,
a lot of equipment and rules for how you have to requisition experimental gear to go hunting ghosts. So I did some writing for that, and there's some chat about that on the recent Privacy of Press Primecast. That is everything for now. So with that, we will say goodbye. So ciao for now.
Bye.